There's a lot going on. A lot has been happening. If you've been following our podcast, you will remember that there was one of our episodes that we had a segment where we discussed about the discrimination of a particular lady in South Africa. That's Miss Chidima. She was a runner-up for the beauty pageant, but rather the South African had another sentiment towards her, which was very negative. This sentiment we are now seeing in 2026 in different ways. We called it out first to let the South Africans know that these are behaviors that are not good, especially in the modern world that we live in today. But the problem is this is not the first time for them. Let's throw it back a little bit. South Africa gained their independence around 1910, but it was kind of like a partial independence because they were still under colonial rule. And the rest of the time, they had white settlers. And these white settlers were the ones ruling. The black people in South Africa cried for oppression against the law. They were being marginalized, discriminated against, ruled and punished. We've seen all that. To give a better understanding, just watch the video below.
In one of Johannesburg's biggest banks, Joe Noche serves both black and white. The bank gave him this job 3 years ago, but the government were so concerned they insisted he should be moved off this front counter. Now, Joe's back at the counter, but tucked discreetly away in isolation at the end of the line of tellers. Joe Noche lives in Soweto, 20 miles from where he works. Some areas of Soweto are better than this, many are worse. Joe lives in his mother's house. He lives here with his wife and 5 other people. There are 2 rooms and a kitchen.
I have gone to South Africa to work myself from Rhodesia, and I'm a foreign African according to the South African situation. Yes. I went to South Africa not because life is better for Africans in South Africa. In fact, you can easily say life is better for Africans in South Africa because you have never been black before yourself, and you have never known how bad it is to be black in South Africa.
Can you hold up, Chen? Can you give us some small everyday examples of what it's like to be black in South Africa?
To be black in South Africa is that you are in restriction daily. You have to carry a pass. You are not allowed to travel late at night in the city except for white people who are God's people. And in South Africa, you are not allowed to go even into certain restaurants because they are all white. There are always signs all over the city that non-whites, people who are not white, go through this direction. People who are not white, who are white, should go through this direction. And the directions through which white people pass, they are beautiful places, well painted, everything is fine. You find an African worker working in the mines getting £6, £2 a month, and a white worker getting over 100. And then you say life for Africans is better in South Africa.
What will you say to somebody during the week about the child who was knocked down and an ambulance? I got a garbled version of that somewhere.
Pardon?
A child knocked down and an ambulance coming. Was it you or was it Mrs. Campbell who was saying that? Mrs. Campbell, about a white child being knocked down or something.
It's very simple. Say this, but you know, all this thing going on about South Africa, and I would like him to paint himself black. You know, you plant trees. These are black men in South Africa. You can't sit in a park. I mean, you know, something like that. The nature of your own country.
Kader, you're South African, right?
I'm sorry. I think it's necessary to be said, this point that Mr. Bates raised about 1 million foreign natives. Quentin Hogg quite rightly said, so what? You know, the other argument that is raised, quite unhistorical, that they were not there in any case first, you know, that the others came first before them. Now, I think this question about 1 million foreign Africans, Mr. Bates worked for the South African Embassy. He must know that there is a body called the Witwatersrand Native Recruiting Association, which recruits 100,000 Africans in Angola and Mozambique, in Rhodesia, in Malawi. Without African labor,
free countries.
Yes, without African labor, the gold mines of South Africa would come to a standstill. The first thing that Tanzania did when it became independent was to stop the recruitment of black labor in South African mines. This is a crucial matter. South Africa is not a cornucopia for the majority of non-whites. I think my friend here only gave you one example about park benches. But the whole protest about this rugby, and it may be one-sided, as Mr. Richardson said, but I have the authority of a great South African, the Bishop of Stepney, the Right Reverend Ambrose Reeves, who said one can't be impartial about South Africa. It is the only country of its kind in the world. And this is where, very slowly and calmly and deliberately, I'd like to disagree with Quentin Hogg about relationships with communist countries and with South Africa. Our relationships, and this is why I feel insulted as a South African, I am a South African also. I would like the rest of the Western world particularly to have relationships with the real South Africa. There are 17.5 million people in South Africa. For 90 years, as Andy Mulligan said in The Observer, we've had proper cultural relationships, sporting relationships. We've sold arms and all the weapons of destruction to one side of South Africa. Now we must start extending the hands of friendship to the great unwashed, the dispossessed, the exploited. You know, your pictures of Biafra you've seen, of the children with distended stomachs. In South Africa, Kwashiorkor, and this is the basis, the area of relevance. In South Africa, in Port Elizabeth, 200 out of 1,000 African children die before they reach age of 1. Why? Why?
Wait a minute. Harry and CJ Barry Richardson, you know, how do you cope with that? So are they telling lies?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that if it wasn't for the white people, there would be no Negroes to worry about at all. It is precisely because the white people have looked after them medically and gradually brought them on. Within living memory, the African Negro was a savage. They were cannibals. Within living memory.
Insulting. I don't think that should be allowed to be said here. That's very insulting. We were savages. What do you mean when you say we were savages? That's very insulting. If you so,
Could I?
we don't like to hear that language here.
Can I reply to that?
You can answer. You may answer, Chan. Go ahead. Yeah, this is what you believe. Yeah. Hold up.
I believe emotion is no use in matters of this kind. You've got to apply reason and common sense.
You can have no emotions because you have not been exploited. I know what it means to be.
Talk. You see, that is the trouble. You will not let anyone talk. Our civilization, we can say, is 5,000 years old. We began, start from the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Dark Ages, 1066 and all that. Very painfully and slowly we have arrived at this civilization which Europe has achieved today. But the African Negro, I maintain, is about 50,000 years behind our civilization.
Yes.
Even on the assumption that that were true, what justification would it be for what you're doing? I mean, this seems to me that we all know about the Zulu wars and all the rest of it, and the terrible forms of battles which took place there. Anybody who studies African history knows it. But there can be no justification for an unjust society, and there can be no justification for a closed society. Now, what seems to me wrong about apartheid, I'm prepared, and you can see how they go for me, I'm prepared to advance slowly, but I must advance. And if you have a closed society, the vice of apartheid is that it offers no prospect for the future that one can see within any measurable time. It is a closed society, not an open society.
And Harry Bates, hold on for a minute, Harry Bates.
We have more university graduates in Southern Africa, in South Africa, than the rest of black Africa.
And working together.
But you're never going to admit them to citizenship, however many
moving very rapidly and toward the right.
Yes.
And also,
Could I say something about that?
well, do you mind if I finish?
Oh, no, not at all.
Thank you.
You're talking rubbish. I would like to say that I hold no brief for apartheid or South Africa or anything.
What are you saying?
I am only giving you my observations. I have been in the West Indies and I have been in South Africa. I thought the West Indies was a madhouse, and I found South Africa beautifully ordered, in fact one of the best run countries in the world.
Okay, now hold on for a minute, Chan. Do you hate all white men?
My wife is Irish from Kildare.
Sorry, I'd like to see them come up, but at the same time, can I say that I would rather see it coming up with some education, but they've got no education, and it'll take them a couple of 100 years. They've only just come down from the trees.
That was South Africa during their early days. Now, they had their independence, but they were being ruled and suffered the issue of apartheid in about 1948, which means this thing has been existing since like First World War, Second World War era, and they were being oppressed. During this period of oppression, you had a lot of people that came in support When I say people, I mean as a country. You had the Tanzanians, Mozambique, Nigeria, Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, Ghana, that all acted as military bases for the ANC that was formed by, I think, is it Tambo? That's Oliver Tambo, that was the leader of the ANC at the time, was one of the prominent people that led different groups of individuals to different countries. They went through Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Tanzania. You had friend Jinwala, that was like a journalist, and she was one of the prominent individuals that also helped to hide Mandela when he was fleeing from troubles in South Africa. This she did in Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and other countries as a move to mobilize and make sure that everybody that was training in guerrilla warfare was actually doing what they were supposed to do. Now, mind you, at this time, there was a lot of solidarity and support for the black man in Africa as a fellow African living in Africa. This support did not just come because it was just a black man in Africa. That time, the whole of Africa had been through colonial rule, and there was a lot of solidarity and feelings towards the unity and peace and freedom that was needed for the black people. The main issue we are going back to discuss all this is because the children of those who were supported have forgotten the time when they needed help and the people that assisted them. One prominent of these people was Nigeria. Nigeria contributed more than $40 billion to aid South Africa during its time of tribulation. That's why Mandela, after 2 weeks of coming out of prison, he had to go on tour through different African countries to try and greet and accept them and salute them and commend them for their support during the period of apartheid. South Africans, today, the children of these people have not only forgotten, they have rejected Mandela. If you think I'm lying, listen to this.
Mandela, foreigners must know that Mandela never owned all of us.
Exactly.
He owned his family.
He sold us.
Whatever he said to the foreigners, he was talking on behalf of his family, not us. Thina nje sihlangana no Mandela. uMandela kayikho into akasenzela yona ngaphandle kokudansa nezingane zabelungu. By the way, guys, nibokwazi ukuthi thina abelungu sibathanda. Niyezwa yini? Sicela ukunitshela thina singamaZulu. Abelungu thina sibathanda, but siyakwazi ukusebenza nabo njengoba senzile. We've tested the system. Sabavumela abantu bakithi abantsundu abasuka kwamanye amazwe beza bazohlala la bafike bafuna ukuba ngamaqhude emzini yobaba. Ngeke sikwazi ukuvuma lokho, asikwazi ukuhamba emhlabeni sishiye izwe siyibona inkinga. Singaba wrong ngendlela esirong ngayo ngokwendlela abantu ababuka ngayo, but usizi thina esilubona lapha esihleli khona bafowethu. It's beyond explaining.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the whites who do the job, who create the jobs, not the
Mandela will be turning in his grave. Can you believe these are the children? This one sitting here and saying this. These are the children of the people that you think will be grateful, even to their own people that gave them the light that they are living. Listen to this particular guy speaking. Just imagine that 5 years from now, 10 years, 20 years, another child or someone sits and describe his own effort that he is thinking in his head. He is fighting for his nation. Describe that effort as something he did for his family, which means he himself is greedy. That's why the thought is like that in his own mind. Let's keep this aside. I watched a video of Winnie Mandela. She was a very powerful lady, very charismatic. Let's just watch the video below. Mandela was locked up. Yes, he is the face of apartheid and everything, and when he came out, there was jubilation, united the nation, and then he became president. But he did not rule with his lady. But the lady was the one that laid the foundation for the things that he later enjoyed. She was the actual activist on ground, boots on ground, that was active in his absence. Because without her, he would not be anything. But that is not what we are here to discuss today. We are not coming to discuss about the legitimacy of who was right, who was wrong in Mandela's own situation. That's something for another day. the main issue that we've all discussed or have brought back these ideas is because, again, the children of the people that experienced the apartheid have forgotten the people that assisted them during those times. Not just the people that assisted them, they've forgotten the treatment in those countries, the welcoming, the unity, the peace and solidarity that they had. So much so that even in 2008, you had xenophobia in South Africa. I'm not talking of racism or anything. You had xenophobia in Africa. There is a clear-cut history of these people. But before we go there, what is xenophobia, you may ask? Allow me to discuss this with you. Xenophobia is the fear of hatred of people perceived as outsiders or foreigners, focusing more on nationality and culture. Racism, on the other hand, is a privilege and a prejudice based on ethnic characteristics, often involving belief of superiority. Xenophobia focusing on origin, while racism targets racial identity. Now you understand now what the issue of the South Africans is. They faced it with the whites. Now, when that was done, they had to turn and face it somewhere else. This could be a traumatic response. But then again, we have to understand there is a pattern with this. Leave 2008, where a lot of people, up to about 60 people died and hundreds were injured. Shops were burned and goods were looted. Let's push forward again and come right up to 2015. Same thing. These same people, same thing like South Africans. And every step of the way, they have two sets of people they attack. The blacks from other countries, the Indians. Indians are maybe, but mostly the blacks. If your skin color is dark, you're an easy target. The black man is the only race that is particularly being hunted everywhere around the globe, that no one wants them, right up to the soil of Africa. That is the message to the world, that the black man is the only one being hunted everywhere around the world. I talk about this and I smile and I speak in the manner that I do because it's something that when you think about it as a black person, you should be crying. You should be feeling bad. It's not something to celebrate. It's heartbreaking. Now we're in 2026. You have Operation Dudula. You have March for March. There is a lady called Jacinta, was a radio presenter. We don't know if it's the heartbreak she received because before now, she was so in love with Nigerians. Then you have another guy, I've forgotten his name, that is also from being someone that was positive and welcoming towards everyone, flipped and become the person that is chasing everyone around. Now, if you have a country that a particular, let me say 2 individuals have seized the country and they are performing march through the country, mobilizing people up and down and doing things on their own, these people should have funds, because if they are saying they are broke, how are they doing all these things? Who is sponsoring this? Who gave them money? How are they going about their own things and paying their bills at the same time, running shows? And if you and I are to even be racist in a certain way, you get fired from a job, you're scared of doing 1 or 2 things, but these people are not concerned about that. Why? Is there someone sponsoring this? There must be something fueling this. They say, if your dog is barking at you, it means someone else is feeding it. That's a famous African proverb. And another African proverb says, if you get up and the chicken that you used to see around your house or that you used to feed start chasing you, run. That chicken might have grown teeth and you do not know who actually put the teeth in the mouth. On this case, we are trying to look at who has put teeth in Jacinta's mouth. This particular woman has instigated the public to actually commit violent crimes. This particular woman has instigated the public to commit violent crimes against different individuals. People are being killed, being beaten, being attacked. You go on your way to the shop, you're being attacked. You come back from work, you're being attacked. You open your business, it's being looted. Just watch the video below to shed some light on the amount of looting that is being going on.
আমার স্বপ্ন, আমার আশা, আমার স্বপ্ন. They are taking all. They are looting all. আমার স্বপ্ন, আমার আশা সব শেষ করে দিয়েছে এক নিমিষে. They are taking all everything. You see, is dust. They are taking all everything. আমার স্বপ্ন, আমার আশা, আমার স্বপ্ন, আমার আশা, সব শেষ, সব শেষ. Rice, I can't take nothing at night. Whole night, I can't sleep. I am wake up. They are taking all everything. Please, pray for us, pray for South African. South African, pray for South African. They are taking all everything. Looting. আমার আশা, ভালোবাসা, আমার স্বপ্ন সব শেষ. সবার নিকট দোয়া চাই আল্লাহ যাতে এই ক্ষতি কাটিয়ে ওঠার তৌফিক দান করে. সবার নিকট দোয়া চাই.
Again, you have, when you look at the intelligence, for you to understand the type of people down the street, right? I want you to watch this video. I know I'm keep on telling you guys to watch videos and stuff, but again, it's to point. I don't want you to just hear it from me. I want you guys to experience it, to actually see it and hear from yourself, so that if you're being disappointed and upset about it, it doesn't be like, oh, I'm staring something. I'm not here to stare anything. I'm here to actually show you, like, see it for real. It's from his own mouth. So watch this guy.
Almost 100 million people in South Africa. Okay, so what is the GDP of South Africa? It's more than billions of rands. I'm saying, if this government, if these people of South Africa come together, this country can afford to give each and every South African 1 million rand a year for the rest of their lives. We are so rich. That's why all these countries want, all these guys from other countries want to come and stay in South Africa.
This is the most crazy statement I've ever seen from a South African. When they say education is scam, I think now I believe. You said that because we have billions of rands in South Africa, then you can give every South African 1 million rand per year for the rest of their lives. How crazy and stupid is that statement? Now let me educate you. This is how to calculate GDP. GDP is equal to consumption plus investment plus government spending plus X minus M, which is export minus imports. So your consumption, spending by households, food, rent, clothing, etc., investments, business spending on vital items, on capital, machines, buildings, and housing, government spending, public spending on goods and services, roads and schools, and defense, exports, goods, services sold to other countries, and imports, goods, services bought from other countries, subtracted because they are not produced domestically. This is what you use to calculate your GDP. So the GDP of South Africa as of 2025 was $427 billion US. Now, for 2026 so far, the estimate is $480 billion. So the population of South Africa is between 62 and 63 million dollars. So with a GDP of $480 billion in 2026, that's a lot of money. With my calculation in calculating GDP, consumption, investment, government spending, export and imports to make it 480 billion, if you want to give 1 million rand to each South African, your country we go broke easily. You know why? Because if all these factors are not keyed in, like your investments, like your exports, like your imports, you won't produce. And again, the man did not even mention anything about jobs. He wants to collect money. What will you use the money to do? You use the money to start drinking akamo. South Africans, go and check yourself. Go and study. Go and read. Go and do something. That would be nice for you. That's my opinion.
So this guy wants the government to give each person 1 million rand per person. If they have, let's say, 100 million people, he wants the government to give 1 million rand per person. Does he understand how the economy works? Like, God. Does he understand how the economy works? Does he understand what the cost of that will be? And does he understand what pumping that level of money into the economy would mean. Let's shift that aside. If the government do that, all that money will still end up in the pocket of the foreigners and the rich people of South Africa. Because all you guys know how to do is drink, have sex around, and steal. Not two things. You'll be back stealing. After a while, you back out to becoming thieves. That's it. You're roaming around with thieves. You become thieves. That's it. There is no two route. You guys just queue up where you have your benefits, you collect benefit, and you steal. That's the two thing. The rest of the people that don't do that, they are not involved with you. They are busy creating different things that benefit them, that will push their life and their careers forward. That's why the low lives are on the street. Yes. You have certain individuals that have been the face of this xenophobia and all these things happening in South Africa. You must go back and look at them and question them. Why this particular individual is in there? Why are you doing this? Like, what is your motive? Why this particular person? And he is asking the shops in Durban, and this particular individual is asking shops in Durban, operating small shops, to pay him protection fees in order that they keep on opening. It sounds like the mafia movies that we do watch from time to time. Gangster. Hey, what has the president of South Africa said about all this? Yeah? I forgot South Africa had a president, no. Mr. Ramaphosa, what's up? Yeah? Anything to say? Oh, yeah. He was silent until Oshomole of Nigeria said this.
And my point is not only informed by the fact that we were all contributors to the struggle against apartheid. I remember very well that it was because of the struggle against apartheid that a Nigerian president, then head of state, Murtala Mohammed, declared before the Americans that Kissinger, who was Secretary of State, was not welcome to Nigeria. In the words of General Murtala Mohammed, he said the era of gunboat diplomacy was over. Nigeria's commitment to the eradication of apartheid is non-negotiable. And they proceeded to nationalize British petroleum because the British too were supporting apartheid. So I can understand the pain that where we have built relationship, today we are looked at as if we are a body. But for me, sir, I didn't come to the Senate to lament what is not right. And I know that in diplomacy, there is a law of reciprocity. What are the issues in South Africa? The president of South Africa did campaign openly that foreigners were taking the jobs that South African people could do. That is why his hands and his legs are tied. What is my response? These Nigerians who are in South Africa, they are not there on holiday. They are there to work and to earn. And which kind of job they are doing? There are two categories. Many are traders, others are doing maybe some high-skilled jobs. So my view is that it is time to reciprocate. This Senate should adopt a position that MTN, a South African company that is cutting away millions of dollars from Nigeria every day, that Nigeria nationalize it and withdraw its license, so that Nigerian company can take over the MTN business and recruit more people. Those coming from South Africa will find good jobs working with the company that will replace MTN. And I know that South African president has interest in MTN. The federal government to revoke the DSTV, which is also a South African company that is cutting away millions of dollars, even abusing, resorting to practices that will not even be accepted in South Africa. I don't want this Senate to be shedding tears to sympathize with those who have died. We didn't come here to shed tears, and I'm not going to shed tears. If you hit me, I hit you. I think it is appropriate in diplomacy. It's an economic struggle. What the black South Africans are saying is that Nigerians are taking their jobs. Okay, Nigerians, come home. I take over the job of MTN. Nigerians, come home. I take over the job of DSTV. When we hit back, the president of South Africa will not only talk, he will go on his knees to recognize that Nigerians cannot be intimidated, and we do not condone any one life being lost. If a crime has been committed under South African law, they have the right to bring any sort of person to justice. But to kill our people as if we are helpless, we are not. By the time we turn in the economy hardship, we withdraw.
Now that Oshiomhole said all these things, you know that the big companies will come forward to come and say they will put pressure on the president. And as a humble servant, what would he do? Listen to him.
We should never allow the legitimate concerns of our communities about illegal migration to breed prejudice and hatred towards our fellow Africans. We should not allow that to happen. Yes, we all have concerns, as many other countries in the world have concerns about undocumented and illegal migrants. We must not allow these concerns to give rise to xenophobia, to give rise to hatred that is directed towards people from other African countries or any parts of the world. We are South Africans. We cannot be driven by hatred towards others. Others gave us compassion. They gave us support. And we cannot be driven by hatred towards them. Instead, we must insist that the law of our country be upheld and enforced. That is why we are clamping down on illegal migration and on businesses that flout the law by hiring undocumented persons at the expense of our citizens. I spoke about this during the State of the Nation address. We are actively rooting out corruption in our immigration system. We know that a number of people who have come in illegally into our country were allowed by some, not all, officials who have had corrupt tendencies. We will not allow people to take the law into their own hands. We extend hospitality to those who are guests in our country with the expectation that generosity is honored with respect for our society and its laws. And we say to those who are here legally, respect us as South Africans, respect our laws, respect our conventions and our traditions.
While all this is going on, right? While all this is going on, Mr. Ramaphosa again decided to take a little trip to visit his neighboring president. And while there, he met a prominent businessman that is also wanted in South Africa. So his security team and everybody involved in the entourage, organization of the visit, even the president of the country, did not know who this particular person is and if they're wanted. What I've gotten from this is that have money. Watch the video.
So President Cyril Ramaphosa is in hot water over a photo taken during his recent trip to Zimbabwe. Ramaphosa visited Zimbabwe for what the presidency says was a working visit with the Zimbabwean president. But things got messy after his photograph near Zimbabwean businessman Wignell Chivayo. And here's why people are upset. Chivayo is reportedly a person of interest to South African law enforcement in connection with alleged fraud and money laundering involving more than 800 million rand. The allegations are linked to payments connected to Zimbabwe's 2023 election materials procurement. Now, Ramaphosa's spokesperson, Vincent Magwenya, says the president didn't know Chivayo would be there. He also says Ramaphosa was not familiar with him. According to the presidency, Ramaphosa went to Zimbabwe to meet President Emmerson Mnangagwa and nothing else. But they also said they understand why people are concerned. Because obviously it doesn't look great when the president is seen by someone being investigated by South African authorities. Still, the presidency says the photo shouldn't stop law enforcement from doing its work. They've said investigators must continue with the case without fear or hesitation. So in short, Ramaphosa says he didn't know who Chivaya was. The presidency understands the backlash. And now the big question is whether this explanation will be enough to calm public concern.
When you have money, you can do anything in Africa. It will make sense now why Mr. Ramaphosa is under investigation. Yes, it makes sense now. They say if you want to know more about yourself, count the friends or the people that surround you, or by your friends we shall know them. We understand who he is. Now he can speak. This issue of South Africa, yeah, you see all these things of xenophobia, the attacks, everything that is happening. This was actually predicted years ago. All this was predicted. What they are doing now, what will happen. And in one of the speeches of the famous rulers back then, of the white famous rulers, he stood there and he said everything that was happening. And even if you give it to the black people to rule, they're going to fuck it up. Yep. And they're doing just that. And the type of people that on the streets, like Jacinta, listen to Jacinta and her intelligence level. Just listen to this video. Tell me if this person understands. I don't know even who gave her a job in the first place. The person's own ability to reason should be questioned.
I love Nigerian music. I love Nigerian people. I love Nigerian men. If I had to marry a South African man, I would cheat on him with a Nigerian man. Amen.
To share with you a story, like I said, since you guys so desperately want to paint me as a bitter person, and maybe I am bitter, who knows, because I was 14 years old living with my mother when I saw her breaking down, crying tears, because when she went to Home Affairs, she found out that she had been married off to a Nigerian that she didn't even know. So all of us had a problem with our identity because our mother basically was using a different surname, and from the surname, someone that she didn't know. And they were telling her that the only way to get out of this is to get a divorce, and to get a divorce would mean that this person takes half of everything that she has and she owns. This person that she doesn't know, she's never met in her life, who came all the way from Nigeria to steal an identity and pretend that he is married to her. I guess over time they realized that stealing or faking marriages doesn't work. Now they started buying off South African women to marry them, which is working quite well for them because, oh my gosh, feel like desperation, love of money, etc., etc. So maybe I could be still bitter about that. Who knows? Maybe it's a childhood trauma. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's what's driving me to make sure that we never have to go through this nonsense again.
It is okay to march through the streets again and say people should leave your country. It is okay to have a demonstration, but speak to your government. Follow the right channels. Go around. You cannot go around from house to house asking people. You're not an immigration officer, Jacinta. You're not. When I look at all this, I'm personally heartbroken for the lives that have been lost, the properties that have been looted. You wreck people's lives with no accountability, no insurance, nothing. It just because you're local thieves. You're thieves and you're stealing from people. There is no two thing about it. This is not the first time behavior. You've done it to so many times. You've done it for 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th time of it. And whenever someone that is from a different country that want to excel in your country, oh, God forbid. Whereas you all had the opportunity to do that. Why didn't you step up to the plate? Why are you not opening businesses? Why are you not showing up? You have different individuals like this gentleman that have invited different people to come and learn work. How many people showed up? Listen to him.
I have a master that taught me at school in Ghana. So we'll be seeing them all around here with their fathers drinking together. And then at times I used to, please, why can't you give me this boy to train him to become a mechanic? Say, a nice cat. I don't have time for that.
The bottom line is laziness. People are lazy. People don't want to work. Simple as that. As a foreigner, when I come to this country and I read what is going on here, and I see this is free, to get a certificate and get a job. I got a skills already. I come to this country. What must I do? I have to go and get a certificate and get a job. When you get a job, they say you are a foreigner. You don't have ID. They chase me out.
When you grow, what are you going to do to support yourself? You understand? We haven't taken anybody's job. I'm telling you. If you like, let's leave this place for them.
1,000 years.
Nobody can work.
Nobody can work.
If you don't have a skill, you can't work.
They employ people that they got ID, but they can't work. You understand? They employ people that they got ID book, but they can never do nothing in that company.
Right in the city center, you keep unemployed people. So what do you expect them to do? Because they need to eat, they need to sleep, they need to survive, they need better life. You know? So they have to come and sit on those who are working.
This man is the owner of this garage. Why can't they come here that, please, I have a son who is 15 years or is 14 years. I want to give you this boy. It's like a school. All that we are doing here, we learn it at school.
Africa. When you check the whole of Africa, if you go to school, you must pay for yourself. If you go for a clinic or a hospital, you pay for yourself. Why only South Africa? Out of 53 countries, it has to be a free for all. And we are the ones who are paying tax. Saranga Maposa and that criminal minister of police, they are stealing our taxpayers' money. All of them in the parliament. All of them, they are stealing our taxpayers' money. We must fork out our money and maintain the whole of Africa. We cannot maintain the whole of Africa. If they think we are causing xenophobia, they must go back to their countries. We don't want them anymore here. We fought with the white people for a very long time. Today, the very same economy, it has been inherited by the foreigners. The bona fide South Africans, we are not enjoying the economy that we fought for with the white people for a very long time. So for now, if somebody feels that South Africans are xenophobic, back to your country, that's all. We don't want any foreigners anymore. These girls who are sleeping with foreigners, they must never think they're going to control us. This is our country. We fought with the white people for a very, very long time with the white people. So all of them, they must go. And the Section 13 of 2002 is clear. People who should come here are those who are possessing rare skills. And the second people who are coming here, they must have 5 million plus. There's close to 30 million of foreigners. They don't have all those things. So now we must accept that those people, they must come and stay here and we must maintain them. No, we cannot maintain them. They must go to the nearest end. They must go to the nearest end.
So, sir, what do you want to see happening now? You know, there are concerns that whatever is happening could spark into something much bigger. And we could see the xenophobic attacks that we previously saw. What is going to happen with the situation? How do we get it under control?
The first thing, the Minister of Home Affairs must close the borders and deport them. They're useless soldiers that are staying in our soldier camps.
These are some of the attacks as well that has been going on. All these things are not random. You see, all these things are not random. It is okay to march and ask that illegal foreigners leave the country. If you're not registered, if you didn't come in legally, you're not operating, you're there committing crimes, yes, you should be arrested. You should be asked to leave the country. You should be deported. That's the way the law works. But do citizens have the right in a whole country to take upon themselves and march through the country, hurting and harming one individual from another or to another? At what level does it have to rise up to for the president of the country to actually intervene in this situation and look at it and say, no, this is wrong? We understand that you guys may have a good concern that people are not being employed, people are suffering and that, but it is not your position to do that. And the dumb girl hasn't yet understood that what she's doing is wrong. South Africa is a country that really heavily relies on tourism for its GDP. There's a lot of money that comes from tourism. Now, during this match, what do you think exactly happens to the economy that you're talking about? If your people are opening shops, they're creating different things that they sell to tourists and stuff, what exactly do you think happens when you do this? You think you bring in more tourists? You bring in more investors that see that you're just violent and anytime they could lose their business? Talking about business, these people have gone as far as even going to different shops, shop owners, asking them not to employ foreigners.
To hire South Africans because of these reasons.
Wait, so what you're basically saying is if two shops don't comply, we all suffer.
Yes.
And that's tomorrow.
That's why we said everything is going
about employment. It's about, are you guys going to work? Will you go, not work for one day? Would you consistently go to work so you can get paid at the end of the month? Those are the problems. You will not go. Then when you have people that are willing and have the capacity and tenacity to work and make it, you become jealous and you become upset and you decide that no, you have to harm that other individual. This is how Cain and Abel started, and you guys are wondering why. You go to church and you read your Bible, but you hold it upside down. This is not to say that all South Africans are bad, by the way. You have some few intelligent ones. You have some people with sense, like these particular guys.
Because they said, oh, not everyone is running away from their country, but it also explains my narrative as to say people are running away from their countries because they feel that they are not in control of what's happening in their own countries, and they feel like South Africa is heaven for them.
I hear you.
South Africa is more of a... There is no other place in Africa.
Yeah, you're right. Because there are foreigners.
There is no other place.
There are foreigners that say that they would rather suffer in South Africa.
They'd rather suffer and be hungry in South Africa than go back home.
So it becomes basically it's a refugee camp.
It's a refugee,
unrecognized.
Yes, an unrecognized one. Do you understand? Because my chat is to some of these people who say these undocumented foreigners who say, yeah, well, South Africans are xenophobic. Yet you are still in the very same land where you call people xenophobic.
And you coexist with them.
You coexist with them.
So nice.
You're not even willing to move back home where there's no xenophobia. Do you get me? So there's a little bit of hypocrisy in all of this.
No, I think they leave their homes not because of a lack of xenophobia, but because of a lack of resources back in their country.
Yeah. But so what I'm saying is the very same people you call xenophobic and hey, this country, what, you still want to coexist with them. You're doing by all means not to go back home.
It's
yes, I think
it's still
that correlation is.
So that means we are not then.
Oh, Lefa.
But they don't have a choice but to tolerate you.
What I'm saying,
what they are saying to you is you want a resource from racist people.
They have their ideas, but at the same time, they are asking questions that make sense. Just listen to them.
I prefer living in Somalia than South Africa. You know, if we are there four in the family and the one of una travel to South Africa, when they make una forget that person. I'm telling you guys, South Africa is a full of gangsters. I prefer living in Somalia all my life than visiting South Africa. If he pay you, go and hug transformer. Honestly, I prefer living in Somalia all my life than visit South Africa. West Africa, I don't want no. Stop going there. Their men are very lazy. They are full of gangsters. Don't go to South Africa to avoid Hadaino.
The minute you talk about South Africa, sometimes the only thing that comes to mind is but people do not appreciate that almost every single restaurant in South Africa is staffed by Zimbabweans.
Okay.
Almost every single hair salon is staffed by Ghanaians. And then you look at academia, most of the professors, the engineers are from other countries. How do we begin to tell a story that says, actually, yes, there are those challenges, but actually South Africa is built on the bedrock of doctors from the DRC who are servicing South Africans in those hospitals. There's built on the skills of academics from Nigeria who are literally bringing intellectual power into South African universities. And for as long as we are not telling those stories, but we are only telling those stories of what's not working about Africa, we are then breeding a new generation of Africans who do not know what could potentially work about Africa.
Now, on the other hand, you have these other guys with low IQ and zero understanding of how the economy works, and they are far from anything you can describe as knowledge or intelligence. Listen to them.
Constitution.
We will change.
We will change the
Not
constitution.
we will change.
We are self-appointing ourselves to unite this nation. We will change this constitution, and if this country is capable of giving one South African every year for the rest of their life 1 million rand a year.
We afford it. It's just that they hide it from us.
Lelizwe macingwane lingakwazi ukunikeza umuntu ngamunye wakulelizwe u1 million njalo ngonyaka impilo yakhe yonke.
And I believe that.
So we are going to fight for that.
These are the type of people that are on the streets, on that street marching. These are them. These are the type of people that are on the street. They don't even know what they are doing. These are the type of people that support that children are being attacked in schools just because they think they don't have the ability or they are not getting the right to the space to put their own children in school. Who is responsible for creating your school? Do you know where your Minister of Education is? Do you know your Minister of Education? Do you know you can address this in individuals? Why are you guys not facing the government for the hardship you're facing right now? Like, why is that not a question for you? The issues you're having right now, why is that not a question for you? Listen to this other lady that is talking about important things. I'm here to spark different ideas and show you different opinions. When you listen to her, what do you think for yourself? Who do you think you should be facing, dear South Africans? Why is the idea of foreigner something that bubbles you inside? Like, it just gets you, like, why? Why is it like that for you? Why are you that way? Why are you guys that way? And if you look at it, it's never the people that actually went to school and are doing okay in their life. No, it is the low life poor ones, the hoodlums in the street. Yes. The hoodlums and the low life poor ones, they are the ones in this issue. The rich people, the middle class, the guys that went to school and are actually getting their jobs, can actually attend interviews and get a job and keep a job. They don't have an issue and they don't see competition. The guys that create the business, what they see is collaborations to create more business and boost the economy more. But you see the local ones that only want to drink, drive cars that they did not buy, because they will rob and steal from people. They are the ones marching in the street. How the government have not arrested these people by now is still a miracle. It's a miracle they haven't. Like, some of them are not in jail, operating illegally. Those are assaults you guys are committing. You're assaulting people on the street. You're committing public harm and bodily harm insult. There are so many felonies out there. They're walking around with weapons. The issue is, I also blame the different countries that are involved in this, because you wouldn't believe that Africa has an African Union, like there's an AU, African Union. Toothless bulldog, no teeth. That one, no teeth. They come back from here to tomorrow, no teeth. They will not do anything. Because if South Africa had received sanctions for these particular actions, they will not try it again. They will not try it. Now, if the bordering nations had put their foot down on South Africa, their citizens will not try it again. It is a laxity that they do receive that is permitting them to keep on doing this every after 5 to 10 years. Every after 5 to 10 years. Every after 5 to 10 years, they do this. They freely kill people from different countries. They murder them cold blood, like that, just like that. There was a video circulating around of a guy in an Uber car that was killed by 2 South Africans. Yes, the lady and the boyfriend were both arrested and taken to prison, actually. That was a good job. That was a good job from the police. We commend them for that. That is great. We are not here to always say that things are happening wrongly in South Africa. We are here to call out what is right and also point out what is good. We want to relate that you guys see the things that are good and the things that are also wrong. There is no need for the violence that people are experiencing in the street. Take a look at this.
Heibo, echokaza. Heibo. Echokaza.
Fellow Africans, It is time that you guys actually leave South Africa for South Africans. It is enough. When someone tells you to leave their house, leave. Leave them. If it crumbles, it crumbles. Let them understand the impact of that. I understand that not as all South Africans are xenophobic, or not all of them are evil, not all of them are into bad things and stuff. But we've seen enough. We've had enough. This is 2026. This should not be happening in any capacity. This level of idiocy should not be happening. You've seen the faces of those who lead these particular things of March and March, Dudula, Jacinta and the rest, all of them involved in it. The thing is, you have to question, what is the motive of these people involved? What is their motive? Who is sponsoring this? Who is leading this? Like, what's happening here? What's about the benefiting? Follow the money. You will see it. At some point, we will come to see the trail of everything that has happened. Do not turn a blind eye. This is not happening out of love for people, because you have a couple of unintelligent individuals that are marching through the street and leading a group of other unintelligent individuals through that street. There must be something going on. This is a diversion from what is actually happening in South Africa. Right now, as I'm talking to you, Joburg is broke. They've gone bankrupt. They have no money. The city has gone bankrupt. Look at it.
It owes its creditors 25.2 billion rand, while only having cash and cash equivalents in hand of 3.9 billion. This means the city does not have the money to pay 21.3 billion rand currently owed to its creditors. This is the core reason behind the city's inability to repair or maintain infrastructure, leading to consistent power and water outages and the failure to fix breakdowns, resulting in the steady collapse of service provision across the board.
Johannesburg has two crises, a financial crisis and a political protection crisis. Minister Godongwana has the embarrassing job of disciplining one of his own. The ANC top seven has the familiar job of protecting one of its own. And Dada Morero has the most embarrassing job of all, trying to convince residents that the city is not collapsing while they're living inside the collapse. You can argue about the word bankrupt, fine. Call it distressed, strained, or under pressure. But residents don't need a dictionary. They need water, electricity, and working roads. They need traffic lights that don't turn intersections into death traps. They need a city that can pay its bills, and they need a mayor who looks like he's in control. Right now, Dada Morero does not. It's not just about Johannesburg being in trouble. It's also about the man in charge failing to pull it back. And if the ANC keeps protecting him, then it owns this failure too. Because Johannesburg is not being failed by potholes, broken pipes, or traffic lights. Those are symptoms. Joburg is being failed by leadership. And right now, that leadership has a name. Dada Morero.
Listen to this other video. They have no money to maintain the city. With this particular state of things, how do you think they will be able to afford schools? How do you think they'll be able to afford cleaners? How can the council provide with jobs? They have no money to pay contractors. This is not because of an individual. This is because a South African has embezzled. They've sold everything. They've embezzled the money Why are you not facing the people that embezzle and have stolen your money? Why is it immigrants? Don't you think that is a deviation? Why are you guys not questioning your government? Wonderful story. Why are you guys not facing the government of South Africa? Why is it immigrants only? Why is that narrative being pushed down the throats of everyone constantly? Don't you think it's been there to hide other things that is possible within the country? Just within this particular month, you've gotten about 3 different individuals that have been arrested for embezzlement. Even individuals in charge of the police that are supposed to arrest and chase everybody, they are also fraudulent. If you think I'm lying, watch this other video.
South Africa's counterintelligence boss just got arrested, and prosecutors say he may have protected a gold smuggling operation from inside SAPS. Feroz Khan joined SAPS as a constable in 1991, then jumped from colonel straight to major general, skipping an entire rank. As his power grew, so did scrutiny around his wealth, luxury car collection, and property portfolio, with reports calling him one of South Africa's richest generals. Now investigators allege Khan helped cover up an airport gold bust by falsely claiming the suspect was part of a secret undercover operation. Authorities say that operation never existed, and now Khan faces corruption and defeating the ends of justice charges. Previous testimony also accused former police minister Pheki Cele of pressuring investigators to shut down earlier probes involving Khan. Khan's name has also circulated around powerful political circles, including reported links to figures connected to Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma's political networks. Now the once untouchable general is out on bail facing major criminal charges. Do you think he'll actually be convicted? Comment below.
12 top police officers have been arrested, cops arresting cops, for allegedly helping Cap Matlala pull off his 360 million rand police healthcare services tender fraud. Some of them were arrested at their desks, at work, at police HQ. Some of them were cornered in the basement parking. One of the arrested cops testified at Matlanga to being Cap Matlala's ex-lover. Don't worry about the deep throat part. It's not what you think. And this might go all the way to the top because National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola is also said to be charged. He's supposed to be leading investigations into other implicated people. And all of these people are connected to all the other massive names in the Mkhwanazi cinematic universe. Connected to Tembisa Hospital, Hangwani Maumela, Senzo Mchunu, Shadrach Sabir. And right now it's looking worse for Brigadier Rachel Macheng because she went to Matlanga and tried to explain why she kept getting all of these big financial gifts as well as apparently Ozempic from Cap Matlala for years. Do you know what Brigadier Rachel said? She said, no, they weren't bribes. Even though Rachel was overseeing and was involved in the assignment of this tender and the overseeing of this tender being given out to Cap Matlala, they weren't bribes. They were gifts from my on-again, off-again lover, Kat Matlala. Then Matlanga said to Rachel, but Rachel, we have your WhatsApps between you and Kat Matlala. And they don't look very loving. They don't look very relational and romantic. He called you a diva once. You called him Mr. V or something once, but there's nothing cute about it. This seems more like you just randomly asking him for money in a business-like way every now and again. And do you know what she said? She said she's just not a very romantic person. And she and Kat weren't using cute lovers' names in case Kat's wife at the time discovered their text, to which Matlanga said, don't you think the wife would be more concerned and confused and suspicious about you, a random friend of Cap Matlala, asking him for vast sums of money every handful of months over some lover's pet names? And she said, I guess so. She also claimed that when she was on and off with Kat, there was no evidence that she could see of him being involved in any criminal activities, except apparently the criminal activities that you were helping him with, Rachel, with this tender. You got more money from him, bigger sums of money just after the tender was awarded to him, Rachel. What's happening, Rachel? This is so massive. This could bring down so many other people because these people are now facing jail time. They're going to have an incentive to plead guilty, to provide the state information, maybe even to turn state witness, or at least provide them the state information to get reduced sentences. This could lead to all the evidence we've been waiting for coming out against everybody else. Truly, people, I don't think we can emphasize this enough.
You're chasing the wrong thing, apparently. It seems like someone is showing you a cadeau, sweet, somewhere else, while you guys are running here. They are busy stealing on this other side. That's what's happening to you. They are they're showing you a gold band. As you're focusing on it, they are robbing you from your pocket. The standard way that South Africans used to do pickpocketing. So it's the same way that they're pickpocketing. Your government is doing pickpocketing for you guys, and you guys are not understanding. They are robbing you. Yeah, that's why like cities like Joburg is broke. And it will happen to another city again, and it will keep on happening until you South Africans wake up and realize that the problem is the people you've put in power. They have low IQ as well, can't understand what they are doing with the economy, and they are wrecking it. They're stealing all the money. Millions of dollars is going, and you guys are there focusing on immigrants because naturally there is that thing that is just there that burns inside, especially for Nigerians. And this is, look, jokes aside here, this is because of women. You see, back in history, some of the famous wars that started was because of a woman. Samson, woman was involved. If you look at all the people that were betrayed, woman was involved in it. Delilah, Sample Samson. The war, is it the one of Troy? Somehow, woman was in there. John the Baptist, woman was in there. Even Adam and Eve, woman was there. As I'm talking to you right now, Jacinta that is angry. That is leading you guys. Is still a lady. When you guys realize that you're a problem, you realize that woman is still involved in misleading you. When do you guys then decide to wake up? Because you're angry that Nigerians are taking all your women. They are taking your women from you, your girls and your stuff. They are doing flexing. They are spending more money. They are doing this, living the life large, making things becoming more expensive for you guys. Hey, so someone out hustled you in your own country so much that you got upset and you decided to take a machete and hit them. Now, this is not to say, I understand that Nigeria, you guys too, you've carried court and other things to South Africa. Your hands are not pure on the other end. Fellow Nigerians, you've carried different things, drugs and cultism and other things to South Africa. I don't want to call if it's which of the court you've taken, but you know, Egede Waka, taking it down there. And this is the result of it. The need for Nigerians to have money and make money is also cannot be overlooked. It's also part of the reason why this is happening. Very few people will actually come out and say that, yeah, to an extent, somehow there are some fouls Nigerians have made. Very few people like myself and this particular guy here, Scooby. Just listen to him again.
South Africa or Nigeria?
Nah, Southina.
You prefer South Africa to Nigeria?
1,000 times more.
I used to relocate back to
They
Nigeria.
don't even, never.
How long have you been in South Africa?
Since 2010, almost 16 years, right? Forget all this propaganda that is going on online that South Africans are killing, Nigerians are doing that. Yes, they don't really like Nigerians based on the things that Nigerians do. You know, our brothers, they sell drugs, our brothers, they do fraud. The people don't feel some type of way, like, we've been taking this for so long.
Sorry, I think it's the government that has the right to fight them back, not the masses.
I believe if you come my house and my papa get his house, I watch TV, just come on channel, on that channel, I go fight you and my papa will come just leave you. Not be saying a good thing, no, based on saying I'm not putting myself for trouble again. And say maybe I decide with South Africans and stuff like that. No, not be good thing. But you can't just come to my house as a host and do anyhow you like. It doesn't make sense.
So you're trying to tell me that most Nigerians here sell drugs?
I don't know. And we shouldn't lie to ourselves. A lot of people sell drugs. I know a lot of Nigerians who sell drugs. So they bust them steady.
What do you think about going to the school to pursue their students away, the children from school?
Okay, I don't think it really made sense. Like I said, I still understood where South Africans are coming from. I've been here for a long time. So they're saying that they had a problem, one flood problem with a particular school. So now these kids now they're at home, you know, they don't fit do anything. They don't fit go school. They don't fit, and then there's another school that is close by that they're supposed to carry all these their kids and go to that school. Now this school is telling that we're already full. We can't collect more kids. So what must happen? And when we look at the school, it's more foreigner kids that are there. So the people in the parents say, when I make plans for our kids to join the school, but the school they just say no, it doesn't work like that. We are full, you know. So that they had the clash, you know. I don't like how they offend anybody, but it happens.
So what do you think about South African ladies?
Come on, man, you don't whine. Body like diamond, and I wear that everything. They're beautiful.
Are you married to a South African?
Of course, that publicist. What's up?
He said, what?
You don't whine.
He said, what's up?
Go my social media, and my wife full everywhere.
What are your hobbies?
Walking, that content creating, because my work is like I have fun for a living. So I can just call girls, come around, let's shoot content, because now what people want to see. So as they shoot, girls that walk around, they smoke my do, they walk around with pants and all those things. Or my content is more like PG-18 content, but it's not porn. I don't do porn. Nobody gets naked in my shit. So I'm having fun while making money from monetization.
So Scooby, the previous crisis that happened between you and the South Africans, how did you resolve it?
Okay, I was strolling
trolling, they banter house. Now Tinubu they insult pass. I want to insult that president, but I was like, let me leave president. I want to insult your mama. You troll me, I troll you back. I didn't know that I got out of hand, so I went to pick my workers one morning. As I got there, I just made a video. I said, hey, I own 80% of all these RDP in South Africa. That's like,
but your minutes.
It was like 6-point-something million RDPs. Come on, I'm gonna be a billionaire now. But they knew it was a joke, but they just had to like, there are some people that do something like that. So we're gonna use you that said that thing
as a scapegoat
to bring that thing out. So that's what they did.
So what do you have to say to the people?
They know that I don't mean it that way, and I apologize.
If you were given the opportunity to be the president of Nigeria for 24 hours, what would you first do?
I'll just do what every Nigerian person is doing, except I want to do Saraka. Because if I had to say, okay, I want to bring electricity in Nigeria and pay all the money and all those things, some people when they say generator, they go para for me. This is not a cartel thing now. Okay. They will kill you.
So you're trying to say if Nigeria better, some people don't go make money.
Some people don't go make money now.
So this cannot be overlooked. All this cannot be overlooked, and it's consistently happened over the years. So let's say from 2005, 2005, 2008, 2015, and through 2015, 2019, then 2026, there've been a underlying cry: drugs, thieves, embezzlement, women. And the hands keep pointing towards the direction of Nigerians, Ghanaians, and Zimbabweans. The other countries like Mozambique and all the rest, I'll come there. But the side of the Nigerians and the Ghanaians, you guys have to also check within your community, because you're not self-regulating in the things you do. You overdo so much that your overdoing has jump boundary. You've gone across overdoing, like you've outdone yourself and outdone the outdoing. The grammar, the English, the grammatical terms I need to use are even lacking for me to be able to describe exactly what level you guys are at right now. That is how bad it is. But how do we all collectively come to the space where South Africans can actually speak their mind and not hurt people? Because that is where my own problem is. I'm not against match and match. I'm not against saying that illegal migrants should leave. I'm not against wanting better for a country. No, but I'm against violent acts. I'm against looting the shops. I'm against discrimination. Same thing that South Africans faced. That is where the problem is. Let's get that message right. That is where the main issue is. If we do not collectively, both the people you're calling migrants and the South Africans collectively sit down to resolve these issues, South Africa will never be out of this problem. Based on the track record of how it's happened over the years, you will never be out of it. You have to collectively change the way things are happening in the country. And I will tell you the truth. The presidential term of Mr. Ramaphosa has been the weakest so far. He's let down the whole nation, and it's something that the ANC has got to accept it. And if they do not change, nothing in the country will change. They will drag the country to the mud. It is a time that when the time for voting comes, if you like, dear South Africans, don't vote the right candidate. Vote based on emotions and the biscuits they will give you, the gifts they'll give to you. You'll be back again in the same place where you are today. This is a result of your decisions that you make. It is the presidents that you choose, the leaders you put in power that has taken you to this position where you are. You have yourself to blame, nobody else. So do not look at the migrants, because if your police were working effectively, people will be arrested. If your home office or your immigration department was working perfectly, migrants who steal and commit crimes will be deported. If the immigration service was working perfectly, all the people living in huts and all that will be deported. If your immigration system was working perfectly, areas like this one in Mozambique where there's no gate, look, watch this one. They will actually build fence here. These things, though it's all over Africa.
1968, this pillar was put right here. When I move this side here, I am in Burkina Faso. When I move one step this way, I am in Ghana. Like right here. And the Berlin Conference put a line right here, separating the people that are this side as Ghanaians and the people that are this side as Burkinabe people, Burkina Faso. Literally, if you can look on the ground right here, the man who is farming his groundnuts, he is crossing between Burkina Faso and Ghana. I don't know where this man must pay his taxes to. I don't know where this man must get his passport from. Whether he must get his passport here to sell his goods over here, or he must get his passport here to sell his goods over here. But literally, this block of wood put by Berlin Conference here, 1968, separates the Bisa people from each other. This way is Togo, that is Burkina Faso, and this is Ghana. All separated by a block of concrete. And literally, I can say, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Burkina Faso, Ghana. So where am I? Come on, let's go. This is the mischief and the nonsense of the Berlin Conference.
But if it's so much of a trouble, you would have done something about it. Don't you have a department, immigration department, that can look into that? So it's not the people, it's the way you approach the issues. You guys as well have to take a blame for this. To stop focusing solely on the fact of this one has done this, this one has done that, and also pay attention to how you're reacting to these things. You're not taking responsibility for them. That's why the things keep happening the way they. So please, let's all collectively look into these things. A lot is going down in South Africa. A lot of hurt, a lot of beatings, a lot of disgrace and embarrassment, embezzlement, stealing. You have a city going broke. You have dilapidated buildings. You have foreigners buying up everywhere. But at the same time, those are investors. That's how the world works. Those are businesses. If you don't have to buy, someone else has got the money to, and they'll push the business. The issue is that you guys, the South Africans, the black culture, you are not coming forward. And this thing is not happening in every part of South Africa. It's just amongst the black people. People of black color, it is only around you guys. That's why the time when you carry this thing to go to the white zone, you don't play it though. You don't go there. Because you know how they will deal with you. If you think I'm lying or I'm the one just saying it, this other video too will help. I'm there today with receipts. Watch this video.
What are you here for? You here to eat? What do you want to do? Yeah? We want to Why? What do you want to do? Yes, hold up! Move up!
Don't touch me.
You can't do anything. Come here, man. Come here. Come here. Please, come You can't do anything. Hey, fuck you, man. Who do you think you are? You're not from this country.
They try to go to the white zone. That's the beating they receive. They know they cannot go there. They cannot try it. Those people might be white in color, but their fists are black. They have that Shaka Zulu strength. They will knock you out clean. Try it again. When even the leaders of the march and the Dudula, they made white people. This is how humble.
150. How many you want? How many you want? 200. Yeah, I can give them 250.
I know you also, because we don't want a situation where we are saying employ our locals and you get people that are going to
employ locals, but the thing is a big problem for the locals. Monday